Welcome to Second Laugh. It's Gramps, your host. It's a rainy Wednesday here in Dallas, and I'm up against a little bit of breeze, and I've got this fancy umbrella, so hopefully sound stays up. We have a new guest. Sorry. My mileage, 38,258 for those keeping track, 38,258. It's Yeah, Fitbit is no longer calling themselves Fitbit. It's now Google Health. They were acquired by Google a couple of years ago, and it was part of Ronnie's and my frustration with my mileage total. So we'll see. We'll see if it all stabilizes. It's been kind of interesting. But back to, I have a new guest, someone that's not been on before, and super, and always excited, and I'm always super excited. In this case, I'm extremely excited to have a conversation with my guest. If you could bring him on, Ronnie. Dom, are you there?
Yeah, I'm on.
All right.
Sorry, I
Woo.
couldn't hear you, so I had to rejoin.
Oh, it's all good. Hey, there's always something delightful in doing stuff live. It's, it
I
lets
love
you
it.
know it's live. It lets you know that we are not AI. You're
Yep.
not made up. I'm not made up. It's great. We met each other a couple years ago, and as a character in the Second Lap journey, I like to at least give a little bit of history of who it is that we're bringing in as we're talking. We met through VeeFriends
hmm
at VCon, which
Yep.
is there or was there, and could be one more if we're. There's another one, and we've had a couple of these. Like, hey, it's going to be in October in Miami, and everybody like, and then he was like, nah, he was just kidding. We're not really going to do that, but there's going to be one more. We met a few years back at one, and we met again in the following, and you were fairly involved with VeeFriends, and then your life changed. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I would say the crypto space is interesting, and I was heavily into Gary for a while, but what ended up happening was I left my job to start my nonprofit foundation, the Hype Foundation, and through that there was a lot. I mean, I was running a business before that, but running a business nonprofit is something different, and ups and downs of fundraising, ups and downs of all kinds of stuff, getting our program into schools.
Right.
So that was a really probably the toughest year I think of my wife and I's life. And through that, faith has been a thing for us in our life since we got married, but never like that big of a deal.
Okay.
And it became a big deal when we were pretty much. I wouldn't say we were at our lowest, because nothing was necessarily in jeopardy of like losing stuff, but we just financially, just it was rough. I couldn't figure out if this was the right path. Like, did I do
Right.
the right thing? And yeah, just distinctly just prayed. I just prayed to God, and I was like, God, like, if this is what you want me to do, like, you got to let me know, because I think this is what you want me to do, but I'm no, you know, prophet or anything. Like, I'm not someone that knows what you're telling me. And so he answered three prayers for us in like 10 days. And it was pretty insane. And that radically 180'd my life. And it just changed the complete trajectory of my life. I started, yeah, Jesus saved me. I started volunteering at my church, and then the foundation took off. So it was like all the greatest things. And so I
Right.
wouldn't say I never left V Friends. It just, I didn't have the time to be in it. Or I wouldn't say that, because I don't like to say I didn't have the time. I just chose to put my time into the foundation and into the church and into honestly being a better husband and father.
I hear you. I You said were answered through prayers. Were they like people reaching out to you? I'm gonna before you answer. I'm asking these questions because I'm sort of being tested on some things that I'm being pulled to myself. And so I'm curious as I'm listening to your path. I've, you know, I've done things like screenshotted things that it's like later I'm going to use this as defense for why I went all in because nobody's going to believe me. Nobody's going to
Yeah.
believe that that happened. And it's just like,
Yeah.
so what kind of things were you answered with?
Yeah, man. So it's interesting because I think a lot of people aren't let's say just I mean, I'm a Christian, for example, but I'm not telling anybody they need to be that. But I think a lot of people aren't educated on like what it means or to follow Jesus, for example. And so I wasn't. I grew up in the Catholic Church. My parents never read the Bible, so the for me to have any opinion about the Bible was like is wild, right? Because I
Right.
never
Right.
read it. So when I got I started serving on the student team at our church with the youth group because obviously that makes sense if I'm working with kids every week. Like I might as well work with the kids at my church.
Right.
And I was meeting with our lead pastor regularly, and he knew the ins and outs of what was going on in our life and the struggles. And he told me a really similar story of what he went through and how he was battling some things, and he just gave God some prayer requests. And so, but he was like, you got to make them specific. And so what we did is we were basically at the point where I had like 3 more months of money ish to survive and basically no money coming in for the foundation. And
Okay.
I was like in the middle of one of our gratitude growth classes, actually the first one. And so I just kept telling my wife, like, if we get this done, I know that I can sell this class. I know that I can raise money. If we get results from this class, that's what I'm best at. I know we can change lives.
Right.
And but she didn't want to wait, which I completely understand. So I was like, all right, well, let's have these prayer requests. And so there was 3 prayer requests. The first one was to get a guy named Will as an advisor for our foundation, who's been in the philanthropy space for a very long time, very successful, just very knowledgeable man, done just so many different things. And so to get him as an advisor would have been like a stretch. Like he's
Right.
so busy, it's not even funny. The second one was to raise a month or 2 months of my salary, or no, it was 4 months of my salary in the month. So we were
Okay.
praying. We started praying January. It was like January 14th or 15th, and we were going to pray till the end of February. And so it was raise 4 months of salary until the end of February. And so that would have been $8,000, because I was paying myself 2,000 a month.
Okay.
And so that was the second one. And then the third one was to get our like nonprofit approval from the IRS, which is just like such an intense process. And it was even more intense for me because when I left my job, um, when I left my previous career, I had a partnership with Amazon through Web3. They were launching a digital um, marketplace, and
Okay.
they had reached out to, I think, maybe like 50 or 70 creators, and they wanted them to launch products. And so I was like, well, I don't want to launch a product because that's not what I want to do. But if I can launch something and that funds my nonprofit, and so they agreed to it. So when we originally wrote my like nonprofit 501(c)(3) to the IRS, it was in partnership with Amazon.
Okay.
Well, that all crashed and burned, and I didn't have that partnership, so I had to resubmit to the IRS, which is red flags for the IRS, because now I don't have Amazon, or they think I'm lying because I already submitted this and blah blah blah. So that was a big prayer because it was like, I mean, God's the only one that's gonna approve this, not me, not
Right.
So yeah, so it's pretty crazy. Me and my wife just literally. I remember my pastor telling me like you just gotta get down and you gotta pray every night with your wife, and that was just foreign to us. Like we had prayed, but it was nothing like that. And so every night, my wife got down on our knees and we literally just prayed, and we're like, God, just if this is what you want us to do, just show us. Just do the
Right.
unbelievable, impossible things that only you can do. And so the first one with Will he called me back. Like we had gone back and forth for months, and I couldn't get him on a call. And on the 10th day, he called me just randomly, literally called me in the middle of the day. It was like 1 o'clock. And he's like, we talked all about the foundation. He's like, what do you need? How can I help? Boom, boom, boom. Gave me like all these ideas. He's like, yeah, I'm here to help. I'm all in with you. So that was the first one. So I was like, that
Awesome.
was just wild. That was on the 10th day. And then on the 11th day, I got a call, or I got a Twitter DM from a guy that said, "Hey man, we got control of this rugged token, and there's some treasury money, and we want to donate it to the foundation." And I'm like, "Okay, dude, like if the token's dead,
Sure.
but you got this, yeah, you got $4,000." Like I thought he was joking. I'm like, "You got to be joking. Like there's no way this is real. Are you playing a joke on me?" And so yeah, he donated $4,000 that day, and then we got another additional like $5,000 that same day. So first prayer request was answered on the first day, and then second one on the 11th day, and that was it for me. Like I didn't even at that point, like I didn't even need the third prayer request because I was like, this
Right.
is literally the most crazy thing that's ever happened in my life, maybe. Um, and so the last prayer request did get answered right before the end of February. But before that, I was all in. I was
You already
like, oh
all
my
in.
gosh,
Okay.
like yeah, like obviously dependence on God is what I need to do. And for a long time, I think people try to do it on their own, man. And I just that is hard. Like I just don't think you can. And now fast forward almost 3 years, um, I'm very involved, obviously, in my church, and I started going to seminary, which is church based, like church college, just to
Okay.
learn more about it. And so, yeah, man, it was a radical shift, and I believe that you can control things, like you can control your attitude and your effort. But I think there's a lot of things that we think we can do that we just can't.
You online appear to me as a follower and a friend to be burning the candle at both ends. Do you find time to get rest and to stay healthy for the rest of us all dependent on you?
Um, so that's been a balance for sure. So that's been probably one of the hardest things.
I'm not trying
And
to
it
kick you in the
really,
ribs. I'm trying to be,
nah,
it just, I see
listen,
you
kick me.
do it and I'm like, yeah, yeah. Go, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, listen, kick me in the ribs. I was funny enough that you said that. I was at a hockey game last night. My son had a hockey game, and my dad, who's so funny, man. He was like, I'm not trying to offend you, but I know that your schedule's crazy. But we went and saw a movie because I didn't know if you were going to be able to see the movie next week. And it's funny because that's what my dad did when I was a kid, man. He worked 14, 15, 16 hours, and I'm working, yeah, I don't even at this point don't even know how many hours. Um, that's been the toughest thing, and I think it comes down to discipline in different aspects, having the right systems in place. Um, Luckily, like my marriage is so good. And my wife is the greatest, and we have just like such great communication. And so we may get, I don't know, an hour every night to just talk, but that hour could equate to 5 hours because the way that we communicate. And so that's been a priority for sure, is always taking care of her and always putting that first because I can't do it without her.
Right.
And then being strategic about how I spend time with my kids. We added Bonnie to the family last year. She's about a year and a half now, and having four kids is no joke. That's been a crazy shift where you think, my boys are 7, 5, and 4, so they're kind of, I mean, they could do stuff on their own. So
Right.
we were getting to a phase where we were like getting in a new rhythm, and then Bonnie came, and it's another new rhythm. And so just balancing all that, and I think balance is something that evolves like every day, every season of your life. The My health is fallen off a little bit, but I do fast quite a bit, and so that's kind of my hack, is that I intermittent fast and then do extended fast, so that helps me stay along. I just actually started working out again. I took about 3 months off. Just started working out again this last week, with my wife, which is awesome. And but
It's
yeah, man,
romantic.
I'm
I was
yeah,
told it
it
was
is
okay
great.
to say that out loud. It's
I
romantic.
love that.
Yeah, we kiss while we're working out, not in, a rated R fashion, but in a way just like, hey, I'm still here with you. We're doing this together.
Yeah. I love that, man. I think that's how I feel about it. Like, well, if I'm gonna work
Yeah.
out and I don't want to work out, why wouldn't I work out with my wife? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I want to do that? So I don't know how to answer your question. It's been an up and down roller coaster. Um, I'm tired all the time, but I do rest. Like I know when I need to rest and I have pockets of time. And so if I get really out of hand, my wife will keep me in check, which is cool. And I have
Good.
some really, really good men around me that I've been like just super intentional about seeking wisdom from that are like will know if I need them to call me out. So
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you have that, and I'm most glad that you're aware because I think I wasn't aware. I was that guy that hey, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And it was like I'm going there quicker because of that, and
yeah,
now she takes pictures of me passed out at 8:30 on the couch and kind of makes fun. And it's like, well, that's like when I'm supposed to be tired. I'm up at 5. Like
yeah,
that's bedtime now.
yeah.
But yes, finding that rhythm and getting that. And you made mention, you've gone from man to man with kids to zone. And now you've added the girl, now you're a girl dad. Has that softened you up? I mean, has that done something that you can now, at our age, can you like see that she different than the three bruisers ahead? I mean,
So yeah, I don't it definitely has softened me up. She's my favorite, unapologetically. It's funny that I could even say that. She's only a year and a half, but she's a daddy's girl. She loves me the most. And so I joke about that. I always give my wife a hard time, like Bonnie loves me the most. I know she loves you, but she loves me. And so it's cool because the boys love my wife the most. And so it's been awesome, man. It's softened my boys up. It's softened their edges a little bit, which has been super just a blessing to watch. They are my boys are the epitome of boys. They are like rough, tough, roll in the mud, fight each other. Um,
right.
just it's incredible. And so for her to come into the family and them to get softened up is super great. And so yeah, it's something that is pretty special. I think to have in our family and to have her as the youngest, I think is just the greatest blessing.
That is fantastic. I was going to say, in my life, I am the oldest of 4, and my 3 younger are all sisters. So, kind of the complete opposite of that. And so I had to be sort of the strong older brother, but then it had, I could tell you how to, mend nylons or put the back of you know, uh,
Yeah,
eraser for the back of an earring kind of thing. I had all those sort
yeah,
of hacks because I was around it.
yeah.
Um,
I think to just to follow up a little bit more on that question, Robbie, I don't think there's anything that is more weighty in my life than raising my boys. And that's because I just want them to be good men. And I think that that's even more amplified with Bonnie because I want Bonnie to see me. I want Bonnie to see her brothers as men that she would want to marry one day, as a strong man that leads with integrity and vulnerability and love, and humility. And so ultimately, that's what I think. Robbie just bounced. Robbie got disconnected. You're back. You back.
oh, I heard you. So you were saying the boys, you want them to be raised as ones that she would look to being, a good, beacon. So I was listening even
Yeah,
as he took the signal away from me. Yeah.
yeah.
Am I still in a bad place? I'm trying to get up this hill.
No, you're fine. Oh,
This
you can't hear
live
me.
stuff. I'm going to start sitting at the desk all the time.
I love
Gonna
this.
ruin. It's
I
gonna.
love that you're walking. Robbie's the man. He's out here getting his steps in. All right, better?
I think I'm almost at the top of the hill, and then I'll get better. I'm trying to go fast.
You got a pretty good stride there.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Thank you. Talk to me about GT. Where does GT come from?
Yeah, gentle tornado. So when I was a kid, I was really close with my great grandparents, and my great grandpa called me tornado my whole life growing up. And so just because I had crazy energy and I never sat still, and I'd go 110% until I fell asleep. And oftentimes I would fall asleep anywhere. I'd fall asleep on the ground, on the couch, didn't matter. So that's where tornado came from. So then, kind of just growing up in sports, a lot of my family called me tornado. Um, and then when I was like 20 or 21, maybe I went to a leadership course. Oh, we lost Robbie. It's weird being full screen on here, to be honest. That's too much space. It's too much space. Hype Foundation. Make positivity louder, baby. Let's go.
I promise this isn't me. There he is. We'll get him back.
He's coming back, baby.
Okay. I found.
Wait, now I can't hear you, Robbie.
You can't hear me? Hello? Hello? Am I muted?
Is that on me, you think, Ronnie, or is that?
Hello?
I don't think I can hear you. Let me rejoin.
I swear this will be worth it. He'll be back and we'll finish up the conversation. And I appreciate any and everybody that's still watching this live. Are you there? Can you test and hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me close the door real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know how much of that you heard, Robbie.
I heard a modulated Mr. Roboto, which is why I ended up rejoining myself.
Okay,
So,
I'll do the quick start of the version.
okay.
So as a kid, I was really close with my great grandparents. And my great grandpa used to call me tornado just because I was like super crazy, energetic. And the reason he called me tornado is because I would go 150% and then I'd fall asleep. I'd crash hard and I'd fall asleep anywhere. I'd fall asleep on the ground, on the couch. Didn't matter.
Yep.
When nobody would throw the football with me, I used to throw the football to myself. I used to run out in the street and just throw the football to myself and run under it and catch it. So that's why tornado. And then when I was about 20 or 21, I went to a leadership course called Eagle Quest. And what you do in that class, there's a lot of stuff, but you get a warrior name. And so
Okay.
um, really the first part of the name is something that you aspire to be, and the second part of the name is something that you are. And so because I'm a tornado, gentleness is not necessarily easy for me. I'm very forward, I'm very honest. And so I chose gentle tornado because that's something that I always want to be more of is gentle. And yeah, and so that's where and then in Web3, like I can't even believe that it like took off, but it's pretty funny. I have friends that only call me GT, don't even call me Dom. So it's pretty funny. And I have a tornado on my arm.
Okay. No, and it's funny what you described. If my mother was to listen to this podcast, would say, "Hey, you're describing my kid." Like we would find him asleep behind the couch. I would fall asleep in my dinner. I would
Love
run
it.
out.
Yes.
So I have those same roots in my life, and I appreciate it. I do appreciate the desire. What I'm hearing you say is that you chose gentle, so that sort of desire to have the appropriate touch, I guess is the way I would say. We look at each situation with the appropriate level of sensitivity. And as you said, raising three boys versus raising a daughter, I would tell you have to be in touch with the fact that there's probably huge different, ways you have to deal with different situations, right? I mean, it's kid gloves
Yeah.
one way and iron fist the other one. I had two and
Yeah.
two, so I feel like I can appreciate it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's times when I need to be gentle with my boys, and there's times when I need to be firm and, um, hard on them. And that's the role I think of a man and of a father, is to know when to do those things, to be aware of those, because what a mother can do is not what a father can do. And so I can't do what my wife can do. I can't comfort them the way that she comforts them, but I
Right.
can discipline them and be hard, and just teach them the way that, I mean, a lot of things that I think about, even when I'm teaching kids, man, even when I'm teaching the teens, is like, I don't sugarcoat anything. Like, listen, life's hard. Like,
Yep.
I am the last person that is going to tell you that anything in life is easy. And so, like, I do that with my boys. Like, if my son wants to get better at hockey, you got to practice more, brother. That you got to go in the garage on your own time, or I'll go out there with you if you want to. But if this is what you want, you have to do these things. And so, it's very much how I live practically in my life, and especially with the kids as well.
Your mission, your nonprofit, as you called it earlier, your direction that you changed. Why did you choose the age group that you chose? Why there versus a different one, or is it broader than I'm giving it credit for?
No, I don't think so. Originally, I had chosen high school, but now we're like sixth grade through 12th grade. So,
Six
anywhere
two.
from
Okay.
11 to 18, pretty much. And I work with
Okay.
young adults, man. I meet with 3 20-year-olds every Wednesday right now. And so I think, anywhere from 11 to 25, to be honest, I could have impact with. Um, but I chose that because I just used to volunteer a lot with teens in my earlier days and had just profound impact. And so I was always someone that, was like, I don't know what this means, or I don't know why I have this impact. I'm not anybody special. Um, I'm not someone to like boast in myself or my skills, but I knew that there was something there. I was like, okay, there's like, literally can impact a kid with one conversation. And these things are insane. Like, I couldn't even process it. Like, how am I having this impact with a kid in 20 minutes? And so that's really why I chose that group,
Okay.
to go all in on, because I just felt like that was where, yeah, God was pointing me to, as like the next generation.
And you're admitting that you're special and that you're connecting with them, and I appreciate and love that. That is it's fantastic, and I'm saying that as appropriately as I'm supposed to. Just make sure if anybody sees this later. I, do you think you connect to them because of your humor? What do you think the magic sauce is? Like, I know you're magic and you're special, but what is it that you
Yeah.
use as your tool?
Yeah, I think it's authenticity and being genuine. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that I don't have anything to hide. So, I just literally just how I live my life. I'm just like beyond vulnerable. And I was like, you can't hide genuineness. Like, people know, especially kids know when someone's not being genuine. Like, it's so easy if you're aware, and kids are hyper aware of those things. And this generation, especially that's coming up, wants authenticity. You see, the way that they even dress is wild. Like, Birkenstocks are coming back, baggy jeans are coming back, because they want to be comfortable, they want to be authentic, they want to do their own
Right.
thing, which is
Right.
fire. Like, I love that. I'm like, yes. But now let's embrace authenticity in the way that we act, in the way that we conduct. Woo.
Bless
Sorry.
you. Bless you. Yep. You're good.
Woo. Thank you.
Yeah. No worries. Bless you. Yeah. They always come in threes for,
Wow.
yeah. Yes.
Wow. Man, that was a rough one. Okay. And so, yeah, I'm just really honest, man. I'm just really honest with them. And they
Okay.
love that. They love that. And so I think a lot of the problems we have with our mental health, per se, is that we aren't honest with our kids. It's like, man, like, if I haven't asked my kid for forgiveness because I messed up on something, like, I don't you like there's 100 things I mess up a week. Like I have to be asking my kids, or I have to be telling them about the world, or you know, that's our job, is to raise them up. And so I think that we've just gotten a culture. There's a lot of things that contribute to it, but it's a lot of selfishness, to be honest. And being a parent is not being selfish; it's being selfless, and that's hard.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily like calling anyone out. I'm just saying it's very difficult to be a good parent, and you have to do the hard things that you don't want to do. You don't want to do, and so, but those things have impact in their life forever.
For sure. I think the one, and it's probably cliche by now, or enough people have addressed it that I can probably be quick, but you know, this is hurting me more than it's hurting you, you know, that kind of thing. And it's like my dad would, you know, ground me, and then, you know, 6 hours later he'd unground me because he felt so bad. And it's like, yeah, maybe he probably should have just left me grounded a little longer and it would have shortened the sales cycle a little bit. But yeah, we all have our own path and we've got to get there ourselves. Um, I love what you're doing. I'm trying, and that's why I was saying earlier, I'm going across the street. I'm trying to be present for, and for me, I've chosen to be sort of, call it 20 to 30 years old, as opposed to still in school. You know, these Web3 people that have already gotten through the system and they're pre-dom, you know, they haven't been through your system. So I'm getting them where they're just sometimes surprised at behaviors that I almost take for granted. You know, that
Mhm.
it's been interesting, and it's been most rewarding to be present. So I heard you say that earlier, that you're radically present, or at least I'm putting my spin on what you said earlier, and I've tried to be that as well. I'm doing a couple spaces a week where I'm spending couple hours on, you know, together with these folks. And seems like the second hour is more, you know, radical and awesome and fun than the first, because everybody's kind of loosened up, if you will. Or they've started to, you
Yeah,
know, they've heard some other people, you know, say they've crapped their pants before, and they're
yeah,
willing to share, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. We we also do, this is something that's super cool that you just basically referenced, is we do a fatherhood project, is what we call it, in the
Okay.
foundation as well. So we work with dads. And we work with a lot of different types of dads. We work with dads that have been just gotten out of prison. We work with dads that have maybe were homeless and now they're just coming back off the streets. I mean, we worked with regular people that have regular jobs. So we've worked with a
Right.
wide variety. And listen, I've never been to prison. I've never been homeless. And that's no shade on anything. But the fact is that I'll tell you this, is that when we get in a group of, let's say, 5 to 10 dads, and it's me and my other leader with me, we break down all walls, and we're all going through it. Like we're all going through the mud. And that's just the
Right.
reality of life. And men especially, they don't normally share like that. But what we've seen happen, and we've seen like dads and lives get transformed and stronger men, because they realize like, hey, Dom's not better than me because he hasn't been to prison, or Dom's not better than me because he hasn't been homeless, or whatever, right? Plug in anything you
Right.
want to plug in.
Right.
And that's kind of what you're saying on the second hour. Like we're all going through it. It don't matter who you are. Adversity is something that everybody experiences. Doesn't matter where you're
Right.
from, country, age. It literally doesn't matter. And that's one of the biggest parts of our gratitude growth curriculum, is like adversity produces resilience, and you have to recognize that adversity is just what it is, and it's going to happen throughout the rest of your life, and it can teach you things or it can break you. And the reality is that everybody's going through it. So we're kind of all on the same playing field at some aspect. And so I think we've found some beauty in that.
Are you using words like choice, and you get to choose, and you know, it's your almost responsibility to find the silver lining? I mean, what, are you using those kind of approaches, or what is it that you're using to help them to visualize?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I would say that you can control your attitude and effort, and you get the choice to be grateful, every day. And you might be just having the worst time, but there's always things to be grateful for. And so I think yeah, like whatever you're going through for a reason. Like you're not just going through it. And so there's a bigger reason that you can find. I would say, yeah, silver lining, or what am I being taught here? And
Right.
oftentimes I feel like if people are really aware of that, what we found success in is when you're aware of things like that, when you're aware of looking at a tough time or adversity, you're like, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? And then you actually learn something. Maybe 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years, someone else comes into your life that's going through the same situation you just went through, and you're able to help them in that situation. And I think that that is one of the greatest gifts that we have in this life, is that we can serve someone else because of the hardships that we've gone through.
I love it. That's kind of been my mission. I hear you say it that way. I'm using words like shepherd or old guy with wisdom. I've got some scars and
Yeah.
some dislocated shoulders and some things that I'd love to share things with you. I mean, I don't want to take away the lesson. Like I want to be there, as a guide or leading group to let you know, like you said, you're not the only one, that's dealing with it. And at the same time, there are certain things where it's like, I think you'd learn a lesson from me as opposed to having to lose an arm or, a
Yeah.
finger or something of that nature. You know what I mean? I'd like to
Yeah.
leave those limbs on. So trying to
Yeah.
help them that way.
No, that's good, man. And I think I really try to encourage everybody with this. Anybody, if it's kids, if it's older people, it doesn't matter what your age is, but it's who, not how. Man, there's people that have gone through things that you don't necessarily have to go through, or if you're going through, they've already gone through it. So ask wisdom. And I think that is, we're at the core of like one, part of our mission is humility. Like humility is a superpower. It is, because you don't have to be the person. You don't have to be the one that figures it out. You can go find someone that has done it, or is better. Um, and I think that that approach has been, unbelievable. When I'm talking about those men in my life that have just spoke so much wisdom in me, and loved me, it's because I sought after them. I was like, hey, listen, I don't know how to handle this situation, but you have three boys that you've raised, that are 16 and 18 now. Like, what should I do here? Or what's some advice you can give me? And then you take that. You don't have to just like take that as the holy grail, but you take that and you process it. And it's like, okay, how can I implement it? And so I think that we are just in a culture that's not like that. There's some people that are like that, but it's a lot of people are like, how can I get mine? How can I do this? How can I figure this out on my own? And it's just like, man, humility is the approach. It is the way to go, and it's actually a strength. People think it's a weakness.
I agree with you. I mean, it's there's nothing else. Mic drop, exclamation point. Um, we don't, yeah, we don't have enough of it. Like we're seeking an excuse or a reason, or trying to find some whatever, as opposed to just like, hey, like somebody the other day was like, I wish some people would just say, hey, I screwed up. Like I learned my lesson. Let's continue on, as opposed to having to relive it over and over, things like that. Just it feels like there's a lot of these little tweaks, things that you could do in your life that could just bring a lot of change of positivity.
Absolutely.
And I think what you said with having a men's group, or the ability to have other people that you can have as advisors, is we've been doing that for people like the president, or other largely important roles forever. Like there's,
Yeah.
it's not like one person does things. They go talk to people. Like you've experienced a famine before. You knew where to put the seeds the next time. You knew which bowl to mate and which one you needed to kill for food. Like there's these lessons. I'm sorry if I get graphic. My audience knows I'm kind of off the hook sometimes. But there's these lessons that these other people have experienced, right? And why not be able to take advantage of that? And I like that you're able to do that. And it makes me sad that more people aren't caveman groups. It makes me sad that other people aren't doing that. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
my buddies and I talked about there, being kind of a lack of third space, or, people taking advantage of a third space, trying to seek their people out. And
Yeah, I think it's not for a lot of people. I don't think it's easy to do that. So it's just interesting, man, because we're made for community. And like, it doesn't matter if you have the best marriage. Let's just say, for example, you have the best marriage. Like, men need other men that they can talk to, and women need other women that they can talk to, because you could have the best marriage in the entire world, but I don't know what a woman is going through. Like, I don't know what she's feeling per se, on the deepest level. And so, same for men. Like, men need other men, and it's just so powerful. Like, that's the thing, is like, I just try to encourage because it's just so powerful, and most of the time it's right away that it's super powerful.
And I wonder, I mean, I don't know if it's the, programming from Hollywood of the jealous type woman that has, kept that sort of bond from being there. We talked about it when my wife did the podcast, where we need time apart. She has her friends that she goes and has dinner with twice a month, and I have my buddies and people that I have, conversations. And as you said, you need counsel. You need to be able to have these conversations with people that are having similar experiences and or have had similar experiences, as opposed
100%.
to just with your spouse.
100%. And when you're talking about, like, leaders, world leaders have advisory boards, or I mean, you talk about any business, or a nonprofit, or it's like, why men especially are generically prideful. And so if I'm the guy that's calling all the shots and I don't have an advisory board and things are running good, well, I don't need anybody's help. But when stuff hits the fan, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? And so that's just the thing, is like, we're living, it's like, it's almost like we're living in the twilight zone. Like, what are we doing? Like, we know, we've been shown, we know what to do, and we're not doing it. And so I think it's just bringing that to light, and encouraging people towards that. And I think it's a total shift from previous generations of, like, being this hard man that doesn't share his feelings, and things like that. And so it's okay to be a strong man that leads well and loves and has integrity and humility, and may cry sometimes. Like, if I cry, that doesn't mean I'm not a strong man. Like, it means that I'm actually very aware of my emotions. And if you don't cry, that doesn't mean you're not, whatever, right? But it's
I
just like
cry
this.
almost every day. I use
Yeah,
it as a way to, and I'm being serious. I do. I use it as a way that, I feel too much. I say that TOO. I feel too much. I feel it in my bones. And there are times where it's like, I'm just gonna let a couple tears come out, because I need to let go of some of this shit, or I'm gonna not be good for people, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I have songs that I know that will set the fireworks off. I have, different things where I can go and I can, and make it to where it's like bleeding off the pressure. That's how I look at it.
Abs- Absolutely, absolutely.
So I have enjoyed the conversation. As I said, it was an introduction to Dom. It's something I hope that you'll come back and you'll share. I think you're full of wisdom and love, and I feel like we're on a similar frequency. Is there anything, if I was to, this stuff gets cut up into pieces and put out for the good of mankind? Is there anything that you'd love with the platform to, if I just shut up for a minute, what would you love to be able to say?
Um, Man, that's a good thought here. Let me think for a second. I would say, yeah, I mean, a few things. I would say, if you're married, love your wife. Vice versa, love your husband, first, and then love your kids well, and take time and spend time with them. A lot of times, I would say 99% of the time when I'm talking to the youth, what they want is just for their parents to show up for them. And so I would just encourage someone to do that, to prioritize spending time with their kids, and to really be present, because there's only a certain amount of time that you have with them to really impact them in an early age. And I would say, yeah, if anyone wants to look into our foundation, we're on a mission to empower teens to thrive by nurturing emotional intelligence, fueling positivity, and inspiring growth. We're teaching kids about gratitude and their emotional intelligence and really bridging the gap of what they understand and what they don't as far as emotional intelligence goes. And we've seen unbelievable results, 50 to 80% increases in different things, 50% less anxiety and stress after our 12-week course. And then we're also working with fathers. So I'm very passionate about that. So I would just, yeah, but I would encourage people to be, to love well and to be humble and to walk with integrity and to live in a place of vulnerability.
That's beautiful. And then I would say, some of the things, if I go back, I'm a 54-year-old man. If I go back, Ronnie, I will ask him, Ronnie, um, would you plug the foundation's website or how people can get more involved in the foundation?
Yeah. The hyped foundation .org. I'll actually link it here. I don't know if Ronnie can put it up because hyped is spelled differently than most people think. Instagram is live hyped, LIVEHIPED, and then X is is hyped foundation, not the, it's just hyped foundation. And so trying to share as much as possible. We just got 3 testimonials of some of our students that just went through the course, and I'm going to share some of that. It's pretty, I mean, it's tear jerking transformation in just a short amount of time. And so I just think it's like an interesting balance of I've created so much content, but I don't want to manipulate the system into the, and like I don't want to
Right.
manipulate the system by taking advantage of these kids, but sharing what they've gone through and what they've overcome and how they've improved is just like just beyond special. And it's going back to what we talked about earlier, super authentic, super genuine, and the fact that they would be willing to be on camera and share things that they've improved on is just super special. And I think that speaks to what we're doing. And so, yeah, man.
That's fantastic. What I started to say was I can go back to 48 years, 45 years ago, going in, and the things that I remember about life is a birthday where my dad had been out of town for the week prior and somehow showed up, in the middle of the night. So when I got up the next day on my birthday, he's there, he's in bed, present, and it's like, oh my God, like the whole world's great. Dad's going to Disneyland with us. And I can remember those kind of, moments. And so being radically present with your children, being radically present with your spouse, being vulnerable it's life changing. And you're doing God's work. And I'm, grateful that you took the time to come be with us. And I hope you'll come back again.
Absolutely. I appreciate this a lot. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you as well. We'll catch up soon. Ronnie, thanks a lot. Take care.
Later.